good evening. No, it's not that early yet, or late even. I meant good afternoon. Christ. I've got my times all screwed. Must be the sun frying my brain. But that's not why you called. No, I want to talk about Just Stop Oil. Or just domestic terrorists, as I think we should just start calling them now. Because anybody who's been paying attention to that will know that they recently decided, for fuck knows whatever reason, that they're going to throw paint all over Stonehenge. And I can already predict what your first line is going to be. What the fuck has Stonehenge got to do with oil? And the exact answer is, it is absolutely nothing to do with oil. The other thing that they've done is a lot more understandable, but it doesn't change the fact that they're completely losing the point. What do I mean? They attacked, I think, Taylor Swift's private jet, I believe. They've attacked multiple jets, in fact, with orange paint. Oh, and of course, not only that, they decided at Stansted Airport they were going to use, I can't even remember the tool off the top of my head, it's an axle grinder. But they basically used one of them to gut through the chain link fences while they're at it as well. So multiple counts of criminal damage and vandalism, as well as obviously breaking into an airport. And I want to know when the police and the justice system are going to throw the sink at them. Not even the book at this point. Because at this point, they deserve the fucking sink and everything thrown at them, quite frankly. Because it seems these people have absolutely no respect for our history, for our property, for our monuments, or for anyone for that matter. They've vandalised Stonehenge, they've vandalised multiple shops by spraying paint on them, they've broken into banks, or was that Extinction Rebellion? But then again, they're two cheeks of the same arse in my opinion. They've blocked the highways, which they're not legally allowed to do. They've resisted arrest by gluing themselves to police vans. And of course, the one that personally strikes me at my heart the most is they've even gone out of their way to attack gamers as well by trying to spray paint the big monitor where the spectators can actually watch gameplay, as well as, of course, the monitors that these two top-tier Tekken 7 players were playing on. But you know what the scariest thing is, the most disturbing thing is, or perhaps even if you want to go that far, the most retarded thing is? The most retarded thing is that the spokesperson for Just Stop Oil, I think his name is Adrian Johnson. I know his first name's right, the second name, I don't know. And I wouldn't blame you if you thought that was Boris Johnson's brother. Anyway, Adrian Johnson decided to come on to GB News and actually defend these actions. Defend them. And I know what you're thinking right now. How the fuck do you defend the indefendable? But trust me, when you've got NPCs like Just Stop Oil, they'll surely find a way. Because this much I can tell you free of charge. If you rounded up every single one of those Just Stop Oil members, all of those NPCs out there, put them in a collective bubble, and then counted the IQ of every single one, I could count the IQ level of all of those people in one bloody finger. Because it's non-existent. Video games have nothing to do with stopping oil. Vandalising Stonehenge has nothing to do with Just Stop Oil. Damaging the glass of the Magna Carta has nothing to do with oil. And more to the point, everything they've done, as far as everything else is concerned, is counterintuitive and counterproductive. Because what's going on is them blocking the road. Like, if these cars up ahead basically had a load of people sitting up there, they're sitting on standby waiting for these twats to move out the way. Now, because it's taking them longer to get to wherever they need to go, whether it's a minute away or an hour away, obviously, if they're standing by with a vehicle still running, guess what? You're using more oil. Or diesel, or whatever you want to call it. Unleaded, I don't give a shit. But because it's taking them longer, because A, they're sitting still running, and B, the delays with people being in the road will cause them to go slower, which means they're having to stay in the road longer, means more oil gets used up. And therefore, they're using more oil than if these people were to just stay the fuck out of the road. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, because say it with me, folks, it doesn't suit the narrative. Now, I personally do not understand what could drive these weapon-grade cunts of weapon-grade stupidity to do such weapons-grade terrorism like this. Because the only thing that's stopping them from being classed as full-fledged terrorists is the fact they're not violent. And Adrian Johnson even said, the one thing that we will not do is resort to violence. But he tries to justify criminal damage as civil disobedience. No, it's not civil disobedience. It's just criminal damage. That's what you need to get through your thick head, Adrian. You dense piece of shit. Civil disobedience would be, for example, everybody downing tools and going on strike. It would be doing stuff within the book, as it were. Not doing anything illegal. Not doing anything that could harm everyone else around them. You would do that kind of shit, for example, if the government was imprisoning a man for a crime he'd never committed. And obviously, I will let people draw their own conclusions to who I'm bloody talking about. But Adrian's sitting there saying that his group are basically justified, to which the host quite rightly said, no, you don't have to do these things. You don't have to commit criminal damage to get your point across. You don't have to do anything like that to get your point across. In fact, if anything, you're probably detracting from your point more than anything. Because people aren't saying, oh, well, we should be concerned about the climate change. They're not saying Just Stop Oil is doing the right thing and that they're fighting for everyone and keeping our planet safe. They're just thinking, when are Just Stop Oil going to stop? When are they just going to stop? That's what they're thinking. They're not thinking, oh, I better stop using my car, or we better stop digging for oil, or we better do this, that, and the other. They're thinking, when are you, these nutters, these retards, weapons-grade retards at that, are going to stop doing what they're doing? Now, I want to be like, maybe there's a silver lining in the clouds here. I'll have a bloody hard job with that bloody sky. Anyway, there's got to be a silver lining here. And you know what? I think I've just thought of one. They've given us some great bloody entertainment when the public decide to take out the trash. They've given us hours upon hours of entertainment when the British public basically decide to take the matters into their own hands and drag the trash off the road. Or how buses and cars will just drive through them because these NPCs don't know any better. Or how some of these people get inked or water thrown on them. Now, let me be absolutely clear on this, because I know what some people are going to do right now. They're going to say I'm advocating for violence, which is absolutely not true. I have never advocated for violence on anything, and I'm not about to start now. What I will say, however, is that Just Stop Oil are going to suffer from a classic case of fuck around, find out, basically. They keep pissing the British public off. They keep vandalising our monuments, our shops, our government buildings, and even the road to some extent. They keep vandalising our roads, they vandalise our property, and they are expecting no consequences. Well, to be fair, when somebody's not even charged, I guess I can't really piss and blame them for that shit. When our government and our justice system are too gutless and spineless to throw the book at them, or the sink at them, as I would prefer, because that's what they deserve at this point. Obviously, this is metaphorically speaking and not literally speaking. They deserve to be put in jail and have hefty fines on them. 50,000 starting, I believe. If you were to put serious fines on these people, if you were to sentence them to custodial sentences, I know they've said prison won't stop us, but I guarantee you a dead bank account would. Oh God, they lost all their money, we'd stop them. Just like that. They would stop overnight because they wouldn't dare risk being bankrupt. Because yes, you can send them to prison, but if they've still got money, they'll still be able to do whatever they want. Whereas if you take away the money from their bank accounts, how are they supposed to continue their activism? Or more importantly, how are they supposed to continue living? So now it would be a matter of they've got a choice to make. They choose to stop this stupidity that does not spread the message of climate change. In fact, it just serves to piss everyone around them off and dislike them even more. Do they choose to continue doing this? Or do they choose to actually take a dose of man up or woman up pill and actually realise what they're doing is fundamentally fucking wrong? I think we all know what they're going to do, realistically speaking, since they don't even have any collective IQ, but one can only hope, eh? The bottom line is this. These people have no consideration for anything around them. They take everything for granted. The monuments, the services that provide them the ability to live, or give them their expensive clothes or what have you, their ability to basically commute around, and even affecting other communities that aren't even linked to oil and pissing them off. They are alienating every single person they can imagine. And they are earning the ire of even our left-wing establishment. And hell, the left wing's even dismantling. What the hell is that? Oh, some shit. Anyway, they're even infighting right now, with some people even calling these guys, oh, I can't remember what the word was, but they said they were exhibitionists or something. Oh, I can't remember the word off the top of my head, but they're fighting each other now. That should tell you something. And when you see the left fighting themselves, you know it's got to have gone to shit by then. But these people will not stop until you cut off their ability to live. Everybody here can obviously have food and water, and even the left deserve that, as much as sometimes I am loath to say that about some particular figureheads. But if you take away their money, how are they supposed to continue? Sorry, this bus is shaking all over. But anyway, how are they supposed to live without money? I know I can't. I'd like to see them try. At the end of the day, they have to be taught a harsh lesson. We can't go with the silk gloves anymore. We need to deal with this shit with an iron fist. We need to take out the trash. And yes, I will always consider these domestic terrorists, because that's what they are, I will always consider them trash. Because they need to be removed from the road and placed in the dumpster of history, where they rightfully belong. Because that is frankly what they deserve. When history looks back at us and they see what we've been doing over the last, I don't know, 20 years, 40 years, 60 years, 80 years, they're going to see these NPCs and they're going to think, my God, what a bunch of fucking idiots they were. While they'll look at us taking out the trash and realise we're doing a public service. That, of course, is something the mainstream media don't want to tell you. But at the end of the day, our police in the past have been too complacent. They have been too unwilling to take any action against these wankers, while they're more than willing to get the batons out for any patriots and beat the living shit out of them. It's only when the public get involved, then and only then the police realise, oh, okay, we need to start taking action. And it should never be like that. We should be able to count on our police to realise that there's trash in the road that needs to be removed and do so. And they need to basically go in, one warning, get out the road or be arrested, and if they don't, take them in, take their name, criminal record, 50 grand fine, custodial sentence. They'll stop very quickly after that, I guarantee it. Remember, these people will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Let's be realistic here. If we wanted to completely stop using oil, we'd have to be sitting out in some of these grass patches down here. We'd basically have to strip off naked and eat grass for the rest of our life. No drink, no nothing. It is completely unsustainable. And what are they using all the time for their banners, their vests, sometimes their shirts as well, and of course for their paints, most importantly? Oil. So they're all a bunch of fucking hypocrites at the end of the day. They're all a bunch of wankers that just don't even understand what they're doing. This is why I say we need to take out the trash. And I think the cold bit of truth for Just Stop Oil is, if they don't stop, I think it's going to end up resulting in Just Stop Oil people getting killed. And I won't advocate for it, let me be clear on that shit. I don't advocate for violence against anyone. But I will completely understand if some people get pushed to the edge like that because of their antics. I'll completely understand. It's either the police are going to take out the trash or we're going to do it for them. One or the other. And I don't want to see blood in the streets. I really don't. But we're not going to stand idly by for this anymore. Why should we? Why should we tolerate these dickheads going out of their way to ruin people's lives, destroy famous monuments, and all sorts of other shit? Frankly, we shouldn't have to put up with it. And bear in mind, these people as well have also used crowdfunder in the past. Does anybody remember the £57,000 crowdfunder that ended up getting frozen by the site themselves because they were worried Just Stop Oil were using that money for, three guesses, fucking criminal damage? Yet they allowed Ollie Rock, one of the convicted criminals of this kind of activity for insular Britain, they allowed him to have his crowdfunder while he was sitting in prison raise about £8,500 or something to pay for his rent. Now, last time I checked, that's funding criminal activity. No matter how much you want to change the narrative, because you're basically paying for this criminal's lifestyle. I put a comment in to say this, that basically he does not deserve a single penny. It got removed, suffice to say. I only donated £1, but I put it there specifically to send that message. And yet some people are like, oh, I'm sorry for the hate that this guy's sending. Oh, I'm so sorry. Ugh, fucking retard. That's literally my thoughts about him right now. It's like, are you really that dense you're going to overlook the fact that you're funding criminal activity? That's the thing. These people just don't know any better. They don't have a fucking clue. Which is why I will always stand vehemently against Just Stop Oil. And I will always say, forevermore, take out the trash. Get rid of these people. Stick them in jail. Fine their bank accounts. Make sure that they have a hard time getting anywhere in life. Because that's what they're doing to themselves. They're self-destructing their own lifestyle just for clout. And it's not even good clout either. At least with Nigel Farage doing the EU referendum thing, at least he gained good clout with us because he made us realise we need to become a sovereign nation. Just Stop Oil's clout is about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. And at the end of the day, they need to have something to be able to be like, we've got the support of the people. Well, they're not going to do that if they continue like this. That's the truth. And that's my stop. So, remember, if we want to deal with these guys, we have to keep proving their idiocy. Because these people, as said, they will stop at nothing. They would rather destroy this earth than actually have a good reason for this. Just Stop Oil is not going to last long if they continue like this. Because they'll turn everyone away, backers are already leaving them, and ultimately, when you bankrupt their finances, they will not have the means to continue being the domestic terrorists that they are. That is the facts. They have to make a choice. Is it really worth it to try and earn the ire of the British people, or whoever they're messing with, just for their clout? Or would they be better off putting their time into something useful and realizing these oils have far more in common with us, have far more use for us than their idealistic goals?